Depression is real. Please pay attention to your mental health. It has been discovered globally by the World Health Organization that estimated 280 million people in the world are living with depression. Depression has two major characteristics. Some people are usually very quiet. They mostly keep to themselves as they lack confidence. Once they start isolating themselves from people, they would start to struggle to interact or fit in where people are gathered together. The worst set of people living with depression are the ones that are depressed from within, but they smile outwardly, sometimes talkative. They do all this to put up a front to cover their condition. You can find them to be comedians. They make a lot of people laugh, but hate their own lives from within. They can be dancers, actors, or even successful people in their respective fields, but something is missing within them, usually their self-esteem. This is one of the triggers of depression, as a loud voice in their head continually tells them that they are not good enough and will never find peace or joy. But then, if they have a good self-esteem, they can never find themselves in the loop of believing any voice in their head, whether it is loud or silent. With a feeling of not good enough, every day feels like torture for them. Even if they are doing well and money is not their problem, they still for some reason cannot find true happiness or peace. This is psychological and it dips them into more depression if they do not seek for help. It can sometimes lead them into suicidal thought, like the case of the Nigerian socialite that was all over social media, whose 2-month-old wedding just crashed. Her ex-husband appears to have kept her in the loop of emotional trauma. He kept body shaming her, among other things, to the extent that she said that she dresses up in the bathroom. This also can be a trigger for depression, and instead of supporting her as a community or giving her directions on how or where to find help, a lot of people are busy condemning her, saying that she's stupid to love the man, crazy to spend so much money on the wedding or the man, literally bullying her. We can see in the other circulating video that she wanted to end it all by committing suicide. Nonetheless, a lot of people are depressed but would never attempt suicide. Depression releases hormones that stand as a risk factor to certain diseases or organ failure. Note that the body produces certain hormones based on the state of the mind, such as joy in the heart or fear. Therefore, some people who end up killing themselves have started the process already from within, long before it eventually happened. Depression must be addressed from the psychological point of view, the person's mental state, instead of condemning the people living with it by saying they are too soft or stupid to be depressed, as they mostly do not have control over the condition, especially some Nigerians who stigmatizes anyone who owns up to their own reality of being depressed. My older friend who relocated to Nigeria from America some time ago told me that Nigerians are clueless about mental health. She narrated her experience with her friend from church, who she told that she gets mentally unstable whenever she's stressed out, so she pays more attention to her mental health, only for her to notice that practically everybody in church was avoiding her. Finally, a family friend approached her and told her that go and pray, instead of bragging around that you have mental problem that you are managing. Not all mental disorder, for example, depression, is spiritual. They may be caused by many other factors, such as faulty mood regulation, genetic vulnerability, or stressful life events. It can be observed that a lot of spiritual people are also depressed, and if not attended to, they can start running suicidal thoughts. Some of them are even sadists who tend to inflict pain on other people, loves to see others suffer or disgraced. So we can see that depression knows no bound. Now, let me ask us some practical question. Who do you think you love most in the world? My answer is myself. Think about what it takes to cause yourself bodily harm that can lead to death. This second question will be very difficult to answer because it is the most difficult thing to do in the world, as it is easy to take someone else's than to take yours. That is why we see that a lot of people who commit suicide kill people along with them. Depression is serious and sensitive and must be seen as one, as it affects the person's thoughts, sense of judgment, behavioral feeling, and sense of well-being, because in most cases, the person has ruled out every reason to live for. Depression is often triggered by certain personality traits and low self-esteem. They feel worthless, just as if they are blindfolded and can only see darkness every time and every day. Yes, they used to see other things before, but the moment they give in to depression, all they can see is black, sadness, and nothing worth living for. I am always surprised anytime I hear people say that young people have no business with getting depressed. The fact remains that anybody can get depressed, as it is not age-bound. If truth be told, young people are at high risk of depression these days due to all the things that they are exposed to. But statistically, the older people are said to be, and it is estimated that 5% of adults suffer from depression globally, often more in women than men. The reason for this is the high rate of people deriving joy and pleasure in a lot of insignificant things. 1, overexposure. 2, too much information is a problem. Now, suicide is on the increase since social media came into place, especially for young people. There are a lot of saying things that they cannot become. For example, a 12-year-old who is still in school sees a dance challenge on social media and feels he or she can do it. She feels good about it and she does it. She feels it is great and posted it, only for someone to comment and say, LOL, this is trash, and also get no or 1 like. This can also be a trigger. There is the thing, what is the child's bandwidth for taking criticism? Not everyone has the same bandwidth. For instance, for the older generation, when growing up, we all have our own bandwidth for criticism. More so, the overall criticism we received, especially from complete strangers, was very little and proportional to what we were exposed to. Therefore, criticism then could not really trigger so much compared to these days, with access to internet and social media. Consequently, a lot of things that would have caused depression in many back then was averted. So the older we get, we had experienced things that has made us stronger, grow thicker skin and tougher. In addition, we tend to live better with criticism. Do not get me wrong, it would hurt, but would not lead into depression in most cases. But these days, at the delicate age of 10, the kids are exposed to 1,000,001 things that they do not need. These numerous unwanted things come into their lives before the important ones they are supposed to need at 16, like the criticism they get or they are supposed to get maybe when they start their first job. They are getting it at 10 over posting a picture. Social media is one of the triggers of depression for most young people. We really need to filter what we expose our minds and the minds of our young ones to, as our mental stability fosters a good physical health. They work pari passu. This is Moreni's point of view. Like, share, follow, and put your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you.